Hello and welcome to this retro review of Golden Axe for the Sega Megadrive. Golden Axe is a classic arcade brawler in which you and optionally a friend try to defeat the evil Death Adder who took over the peaceful kingdom. However, this isn't quite as easy as it sounds because to get to Death Adder you have to defeat all of his henchmen first. So sharpen up your sword and get your best armor out. It's time for action. At the start of the game you select from one of three characters: Julius the Dwarf, Axe Battler the Barbarian, or Tyrus Flare the Amazon. Of the three, Tyrus Flare is strongest in magic and Julius is strongest in regular attacks. Axe Battler is the balanced option. The characters have slightly different movesets and mostly a different brand of magic. Julius uses lightning magic, Tyrus uses fire magic and Axe Battler opts for earth magic. Regardless of which character you pick, the game controls well. Should you not like the button mapping, the game offers 6 different control schemes to choose from, so it's unlikely that you won't find one that suits your playstyle. The numerous enemies in the game aren't very smart, though they do try to surround you. Other than that, later enemies do add some extra attacks to the mix, but overall the enemy AI is pretty simple. This extends to the boss fights. Most bosses have a very simple pattern and can be defeated using only 1 or 2 moves. Now don't be fooled into thinking the game is easy, because it isn't. The enemies might be simple in AI, but they make up for it by doing lots of damage and having large quantities of hit points. Especially some of the later bosses, who hit like a brick and take tons of damage before they die. To help you out, the game offers so-called thieves. These little fellows carry potions or food, which you can get from them by beating them up. And after the end of level 1, they try to steal from you as well. I guess it's a bit more revenge than that they're actual thieves though. You start by beating them. Regardless of that, the potions power your magic, and high-level magic is extremely useful when defeating bosses or in other tricky spots. Magic can be used at any time you have 1 or more magic potions. Reaching a higher magic level deals more damage. Against smaller enemies, it usually ends up functioning as a smart bomb. Against bosses, it's a good way to soften them up. And the effects are nice as well, so that's good. For extras, this is one of the better versions available. You get an extra beginner mode, which lets you play the first 3 levels at a lower difficulty. You get a duel mode, in which you're basically going to go for a knockout tournament against ever increasingly difficult enemies. And there are 2 extra stages, including an extra boss fight. The cartridge does lack a battery backup, so nothing you do is saved. But it's not really a problem, considering the type of game this is. Graphically, this is an okay port. It misses the background layers that the arcade has, which is odd considering the Mega Drive's capabilities in this regard, but other than that it has well-designed characters and nice magic effects. Admittedly, I do not really like the backgrounds much. They are very different from the arcade in places, and I do not think that the changes are an improvement. On the other end, there are some nice background effects, such as the feathers in the eagle level and the water in the turtle level, and it is very smooth. There is absolutely no slowdown anywhere here. I also think that the enemies and the character sprites are done very well. These are much better than the Amiga version, for instance. Overall then, this isn't the prettiest game you'll ever find on the Mega Drive, but then again, it was one of the first to be released, so it's not all that. Now then, Sound. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way first, then we can talk about the positives. Samples are very poor in this game. Really, not only is the audio quality of them low, there's only one or two of them, and what's worse, they cut out the rest of the audio whenever they play, and that's really annoying. The non-sampled effects fare a lot better. They have that meaty FM synth sound, which is very arcadey, and fits the game very well. However, the best part of the sound is actually the music. The musical tracks are quite good, they sound fairly accurate compared to the arcade, and they've got that lovely FM synth sound that you know so well on the Sega Megadrive. Overall, I score Golden Axe on the Sega Megadrive a 9 out of 10. It's one of my favorite games and is just an all-round classic. For a more in-depth review, you can visit my website over at powerprograms.nl, link for which is down in the description below. To end off this video, I'll show you the remainder of my run with Gilius to see just how far I got in the game. Please enjoy. Thank you for watching this review of Golden Axe for the Sega Mega Drive, and I hope you'll join us next time for another retro review.